Hey, everybody. Welcome back again to Austin Sports Weekend with my man Austin here himself. Not a lot of sports going on, but everything's going on in sports right now, ain't it? There's only one big sport going on right now, but there's a lot going on. But before we get started, thanks again to SevereTV.com for setting us up here in studio. Thanks again for Autographs Plus. We got a store in Sevierville and in Pigeon Forge for sponsoring us. Be sure and check them out. But we have a lot to talk about. Let's jump up into the NBA playoffs first. We are part of the way through it here. We'll just sort of skim through it to cover what's been happening so far. Whenever we get out of the first round, that's when it'll get really interesting. But right now we have in the Eastern Conference, we got the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat.
Without Jimmy Butler.
But without Jimmy, they surprisingly
took one of the two games.
Miami went on a barrage of hitting three-pointers and took game two. So Miami-Boston are tied up 1-1. I still think Boston wins it. That might be the only game that the Heat wins. And sometimes the bigger teams take the other teams a little bit lighter, especially when they're missing a player. And I think maybe Boston might have done that a little bit. But when you're that hot shooting three-pointers like the Heat were hot.
Yes, that's nice and hot.
That was terrible.
Nice and hot.
Nice and hot. Also, we got the 76ers playing the New York Knicks.
And the Knicks are taking a good hold of the series, 2-0.
The Knicks are up 2-0. What is this, like 1980,
1989,
1994 or something? I mean,
this
what is this?
reminds me of Patrick Ewing when he was doing his thing in New York.
Yeah. Both the games have been relatively close games. One was 7 points, one was 3 points. But still, a W is a W. And they play again Thursday night to get game three.
That's a pivotal game 3 for Philly. They got to win that one.
Philly says Philly's big man, Mr. Embiid, claims a comeback. He claims that they're going to come back and win the series. But of course, I mean, what are you going to say though? Nah, it's over. We've lost it. So it's hard to go from a 2-0 and win a series. I would probably have to go with the next year, but we'll just sort of see how it goes. We got the Milwaukee Bucks and the Indiana Pacers. This was surprising a little bit too. The Pacers pulled off and won
Game two,
and
the
of it
Bucks
also.
Defense struggled.
Yeah, they gave up 125 points. Ew.
Yes,
course,
that is very struggling.
125 points in the NBA is not huge this year, but I still got to lean on Giannis. So I mean, you got to think that Giannis is gonna pull it out there.
The main problem is the head coach Doc Rivers has a really bad reputation in the playoffs in recent years. Do you know who's the only coach that has blown 3-1 leads in the playoffs in the past 15 years? Doc.
Well, that might be. Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath too hard then. But still, Giannis is such a good player. It's hard to.
But you can't. Sometimes you can't overcome that.
Bad coaches. Sometimes you can't. Yeah, we got the Cleveland Cavs and the Orlando Magic. How about them Cavs?
The Cavaliers jumping up on the Magic 2-0.
I mean, this is old school. This is defensive basketball. I don't know where this came from.
Well, it hadn't happened in several years at this point, but
to give up 83 points and 86 points in two NBA games, that's normally through the third quarter this year, because there's no defense. This is sort of a throwback game, a little old school game.
They've held the Magic under 90 points. That's pretty impressive.
That is 2 games in a row held them under 90 points. Now,
although that was at Cleveland, now it's going to go over to Orlando.
Yeah, we'll sort of see how it goes there, but kudos to Cleveland. I mean, that's impressive. Defensive-wise, that is impressive. Over in the Western Conference, we got the OKC Thunder at the Pelicans.
And the Thunder taking a good grip of the series as well. Dominated game 2.
Yeah. The first game, the OKC is full of young talent.
Their star player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, is only 23 or 24 years old. He's ripe and ready for.
And the other players are the second and third year in. They're really, really young.
I got to credit the Thunder's front office because they went from the Durant-Westbrook duo, went through a transition period, and now they're back again.
They've got a good franchise.
A good front office.
A good front office that puts a good team together with a good coach. It's hard to find. because they went from nothing, and they're young, and they're the 1 seed out there.
And they're ripe and ready to possibly be here for years to come if nothing else changes.
I think they will be, barring any injuries or stupidity. Then I think they will be. And you got to think that they're going to win the series. The number 2 seed, we got the Nuggets, Lakers.
The Lakers continue to be haunted by the boogeyman known as the Nuggets.
The Nuggets are up to halftime of Game 2. The Lakers are up 16.
And then they were up by 20.
And then they lost.
And then they lost.
Then they lost.
And let us begin on LeBron choking or underperforming in the fourth quarter in both games.
And then, I don't know, it was... I don't know how you can get up 16 to 20 points in the third quarter
and
lose
the game.
And then lose the game.
On the
Now,
road when you have...
Jamal Murray decided he was going to take the game on his shoulders towards the end.
And he ripped the heart out of them with a Game 2 buzzer beater.
Game 2 buzzer beater. And
after LeBron missed a go-ahead shot.
A wide open go-ahead 3. He actually broke the guy's ankle, and there was nobody within 10 feet of him. And he missed the
And LeBron
3-pointer.
missed the three-point shot, and the opposing team.
And honestly, things like that are going to happen. What I didn't like was the post-game interviews when Anthony Davis threw his microphone down and walked off, and then LeBron threw his microphone down and walked off.
That shows some chemistry problems.
I don't know.
That shows a lot of care.
That's childish to me. I mean, if you either win or lose, sit there and be a man. I mean, just I don't know. But anyways,
the Lakers don't have just
10 in a row. The Nuggets have beat the Lakers.
So the Lakers don't just have chemistry problems, and they don't just have problems with the Nuggets. I think they've just got problems holding leads.
I guess they got problems holding it. They jump out. I don't know if LeBron's. I mean, he is getting a little older. He's getting a little older too. I don't know if he's running out of juice after part of the way into the third quarter, because they start out on fire, and then up 15 points, 16 points, 20 points, and then all of a sudden you're down 15 points, 10 points. It's tied, and you lose.
Maybe that lack of maturity, like you mentioned in the press conference after the game, was probably the reason.
It was pretty ugly, to be honest. Got the Minnesota Timberwolves, Phoenix Suns.
Starting with, speaking of ugly, so far the Timberwolves have got a good grip.
2-0. I mean, they haven't been this good since what? They had
Kevin Garnett all those 20 years ago.
All those 20 years ago. But they've won by 25 and then won by 12. So they're not barely winning these two games. They won, but now they got to go on the road in Phoenix. We've had a lot of home games success here. So we'll just have to see how it goes.
Have you noticed that the Western Conference Northwest Division, number 1 seed Thunder, number 2 seed Nuggets, number 3 seed Timberwolves, all in the same division?
Yeah, all 2-0. Going into round 2.
All with 56 wins or more.
Yeah.
Shows you probably the toughest
57 wins, 56 wins. That is something good. We got the Clippers. This is the first one that's sort of in a balance. Clippers, Mavericks. Clippers is the 4 seed and Mavericks is the 5 seed, but the Mavs managed to steal game 2. The Mavs were actually favored in both games, but they managed to steal game 2. So right now it's a 1-1 split going Friday back into Dallas, and I do expect Dallas honestly to win this series
by 6 or 7 games, possibly.
I think it goes at least 6, maybe 7, but I do expect Dallas to win this. I think their core talent's just a little bit better than what the Clippers has got.
But
right now,
Clippers do have talent, but well, the Mavericks do have Luka Doncic, and that might be a deciding factor.
They got Doncic and Kyrie.
Talk about a 2-guard punch right there.
That is a 2-guard punch. So if one's having a bad day, the other one can pick it up. That's what we got through the NBA right now. It'll get a little bit more interesting once we get out of this first round. Let's talk a little Tennessee. I don't know if you ever heard, but we're sort of Tennessee Vol fans. There's been a lot of movement around the Tennessee this week. We've picked up some pretty good players. What do you got in your notes there, bro?
We've had a former Ohio State Buckeye center, Felix Okapara.
Yeah, we actually picked him up today. The interesting thing about him, he's actually from Tennessee, went to high school in Chattanooga. I think this guy has a lot of upside. He's only a sophomore. He's 6'11", And he's a true center. This isn't your power forward or anything. This is a center. 6'11", Zach Edey style, right there in the center. But he did average 6.6 games, 6.4 rebounds, and 2.4 blocks. And his blocks were second in the Big Ten last year. So,
do you think his blocks will increase if he is thrown in the starting lineup?
I think so, and I think he'll get a whole lot more opportunities in Rick Barnes' offense. Rick Barnes' offense does love a big man. He's normally got him a big man in there, so he does love a big man. So I think he fits in really good. He's a former 4-star recruit, so I'm actually really excited to see him. We did pick up the high school player too. I wish I wrote his name down. He was picking between Tennessee and Mississippi State. He chose Tennessee. The next player that Tennessee's really looking at, I know they're targeting Milicic, and he is sort of favored to Tennessee now. And they're also looking. I know they're targeting really hard Chaz Lanier, Lanier, Lanier. And he was a superstar last year.
He was a star for Old Dominion.
He was a superstar, yeah. So I'm really curious to see what we put together here. But we had 2 or 3 people leave, and we've had 2 or 3 people come back. DJ Jefferson that left us went to a Sunbelt team. I think he did.
And it looks like Adu's probably gonna.
Adu's visiting Arkansas now, so I mean he could be. They're saying North Carolina, maybe Kentucky. Now he's visiting Arkansas, so he could be going a little bit everywhere. Waka, still rumors of him going, still rumors of him staying. I really would like to get him back, but we'll just sort of have to see. I got another good one here today. Do you remember, I'll just sort of throw this one in here. I don't think I talked to you about this one. Do you remember the quarterback, Jaden Rashada, that was supposedly going to Florida and supposed to be, like a $5 million pay that was going to him, and somehow it fell through, and Florida was actually going to get in trouble for that recruiting situation, but the money fell through, so he left and went down to
Arizona State.
Well, he has left Arizona State, and guess where he's went?
Georgia.
He went to Georgia. How about that? So he's went from Florida to Arizona State to Georgia. So I guess Georgia's trying to get him. And honestly, the reason that he has left Arizona State is because in the spring training, rumor is he was losing the starting position. He was not going to be the starter this year, because somebody else has moved in and was just burning it, and was probably going to steal his position. But Jaden is now a Georgia Bulldog, so that's a really good pickup for Georgia.
Yes.
Jumping over to the Lady Vols.
Kim Caldwell has decided to bring in 2 brand new
transfers. Yep.
This is probably her first 2 transfers on the job.
Great pickups too. We got Lazaria Spearman, who was at Syracuse. She actually started 26 of the 32 games. She led Syracuse in double-doubles, led them in rebounding, and she's a really good player. And Coach Caldwell is great. I mean, so far she is jumping off on the right foot. What's the other lady?
Alyssa Latham.
Alyssa Latham. We got her. She's coming in from Miami. So we got a Syracuse and we got a Miami. We stole a U. She was their leading rebounder. So we got Miami's leading rebounder. She was second on the team in field goal percentage, shooting 50%.
So we got a cane and an orange.
And she's a former top 30 prospect coming out of high school.
All right.
We're still in a little ACC juice here.
So you were talking about Kim Caldwell. Do you think she's going to be Kim Possible by the end of this?
No, I think she is Kim Possible. It's possible that we got us a really good coach here. I'm sort of excited. And your sister, my daughter, has actually said, we need to go to a ladies' vol game next year. So we haven't even seen her play yet, and I think we might go watch a game. So yeah, I'm actually excited to where the lady vols are going this year. What else you got in our breaking news there?
Reggie Bush has his Heisman Trophy returned to him.
Why did they take it away to begin with?
The dinosaur.
The NCAA dinosaur decided to take Reggie Bush's Heisman away because USC had some sanctions. Why would you punish a player for something the school did? I never understood that. I'm not a USC fan. Was not a USC fan when he played for them, but they should not have took his Heisman, and I'm glad that he got his Heisman back because he was the best player that year.
Yes, and he earned that Heisman Award in 2005 when he got it.
We're talking. I hope that not promoting Nissan anyways, but Nissan does the Heisman commercials. I hope they do a Heisman commercial with like a missing picture ad or something, and then Reggie Bush is fan. I don't know. It would be really, really funny. What else you got going on there?
I've got one positive sign for Detroit. Despite the Lions getting new threads and uniforms, they're also signing their star wide receiver Amon St. Brown and their star right tackle Penei Sewell to $100 million contracts each.
Cha-ching! Hey, pay them. If that's the going value of them, pay them because both of those guys are stars. Pay them, keep them, build them, and I've got a little soft spot for Detroit with my boy Hendon there, maybe being the backup this year, maybe even getting a chance to start. So we'll see. What's next on the list?
The Cowboys continue their dreadful offseason.
They won't do. And did you see the Jerry Jones press conference?
Wasn't that just clown worthy?
Yeah, man, he is. I'm a Cowboys fan through and through and through. Born, bled, my whole
This is
entire
probably
life.
the worst offseason they've ever had, though.
He is. We need to fire our owner.
Is there a possible? Do you want Roger Goodell to step in?
We need to have. Don't you have to have like 3/4 of all teams go in together before you can get rid of a owner? Something
What
like
they
that.
did to Dan Snyder, they need to do with Jerry Boy.
Yeah, and not for anything, but just the fans' sanity. All right, they did sign Parsons.
They didn't give him a contract because they're not very competent up front, but they gave him a 5th-year option.
We just like to see a few more leaves fall. You idiot. Okay, what's next? I don't want to get too ugly.
The Steelers do not pick up Justin Fields' 5th-year option.
No, I think they want to see what he's going to do. See if he'll
But
pan
also,
out.
Russell Wilson's probably on still paying Russell Wilson for his contract. So,
Speaking of Wilsons, the Jets picked up.
the Jets traded away Zach Wilson to the Broncos.
So the Broncos got rid of the brand name Wilson and got the great value Wilson. Oh, that's so good. I don't know. The Broncos, I don't know. I think they're going for the first pick in the draft next year or the year after because they've made some of the worst moves I've ever seen
From a front
from a
office
front office in a long time.
Okay, on our next bit of news, Rashad Bateman, currently on the Ravens, is the first Ravens wide receiver ever that was drafted by the Baltimore to sign a second contract with the team.
Oh my goodness, they're keeping somebody in home. How about that?
It's kind of worrying now. I don't know.
It's hard to build chemistry if you don't keep players. I don't know, but hey, what you got there next for us?
The Bears are unveiling a gigantic stadium along the lakefront of Chicago.
This is big for me because I'm nostalgic. I guess I love the old stadiums. I love the nostalgia, the games that were played there.
The more I think time flies, the more all those wilt away.
Yeah, but the Chicago Bears unveiled a almost $5 billion with a B project for a new indoor, a domed.
I wonder if you can open and close
stadium.
the dome.
I don't know. I haven't seen the details to it yet. That just came out today. But it's hard to remember. No more Soldier Field. No more winter games in Soldier Field with snow going and stuff. I don't know.
It's like the Packers abandoning Lambeau Field.
That's basically the same thing. Soldier Field and Lambeau Field, those are two of the iconic ones, you know. So, yeah, the Bears are looking to maybe, of course, they're looking for public funding and $5 billion
The only
for
thing
public.
that could probably put this on off the rails is if they reject it.
Yeah. But, you know, the Bears owners have been, you know, sort of crying about the stadium being down a little bit. And that would be good for concerts and everything else because, I mean, money-wise, it would probably be a good idea to do it. But nostalgic fan-wise, I'm like, man, Soldier Field, that's like, you know, taking one out. But, hey, time passes on.
The NFL draft is tonight
The NFL draft
at
starts Thursday
at 8
night.
o'clock.
Starts tonight, Thursday night at 8 o'clock. Everybody is expecting Caleb Williams.
To join the aforementioned Bears.
Yeah. And one surprising rumor
That
has just came out today that I heard today is shocking to me.
About not Justin Fields, but Justin Herbert possibly being traded off to the Vikings
Our
for
rumor
draft
is
picks.
Justin Fields being traded to the Minnesota Vikings.
Because Jim Harbaugh might have interest in his former QB J.J. McCarthy.
J.J. McCarthy would be available probably whenever their pick came up, whenever the Vikings pick came up, because they would get the Vikings pick. And they would dump money and salary, which they do need to dump money. I don't know if I'd dump my star quarterback, but they do need to dump money. And there's rumor about them taking back Minnesota's star lineman. But can you imagine Justin Fields to Justin Jefferson? I mean Justin Herbert to Justin Jefferson.
It's the double Justin show. It's the Justin show.
I mean, how many they could lock up Herbert and Jefferson and have Randy Moss and Dante Culpepper part deux, you know? That would be now that's just a rumor. We don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm curious to see where our Tennessee guys go to and what we got last year.
Despite the Angels struggling per usual, Mike Trout is raking.
Mike
Already with
Trout.
10 home runs on the
He is-
year in the month of April.
He is the healthiest he's been. He still struggles a little bit, but he's the healthiest he's been in a long time. There's no Ohtani there, so
because
he
Artie
is-
Moreno fumbled the bag, the ownership of the Angels
Yeah.
there.
But Mike Trout is Mike Trout. I honestly, I hope he stays healthy and has his best year ever because he's fantastic to watch. And wouldn't you love to see Mike Trout in the playoffs?
That would require-
I'm a Yankees fan, but I'd like to see Mike Trout in the playoffs.
Even if he gets traded away.
Even if he gets traded, I would just like to see him in the play. I want to see Mike Trout.
He's only been in one playoff series his whole
and
career.
they got swept. So that was sad to say.
And I just don't want him to go down as one of the most tragically underused players.
No. He is one. He's a nice guy, humble guy, and just rakes in Mickey Mantle top numbers whenever he's healthy. So
And he's done it for over a decade and
he's done
counting.
it for over a decade. Right now, the hottest teams in the league are the Yankees, the Cubs. The Dodgers are leading in theirs.
The Astros are still struggling bad.
That's a little in MLB. The Astros are 7-19.
I'm starting to think, I've told you off the broadcast that they might be getting too old.
They might have passed their prime. They are. I think definitely that they are past their prime.
It happens
yeah.
to everyone. Eventually, your core is going to get too old.
Yeah.
You're not going to be as fast to
Yeah.
it. You're not going to be as swift.
Yeah, but we've got the Yankees, the Braves, the Guardians are actually doing good. The Cubs, Dodgers.
And
But it's still really early. It's early in the baseball season, but I love baseball.
so
That's
far,
my- baseball's my first love.
our stinkers of the baseball month of April so far, the Rockies and the White Sox.
And the Astros are sneaking right in there with them now. Yeah. Well, they're like 3 wins, 4 wins. I know that they were at 4 wins last I saw for one of those teams.
Yeah, but the White Sox are just absolutely abysmal.
What are they?
I think they only got like 3 wins
Oh,
on the
this is-
whole year.
Oh, that's bad. Ew.
I mean, a couple of years ago, they were a division favorite.
Yeah.
And now they're in the absolute gutter. I'd have to put the blame on ownership.
Yeah, because how do you go down that quick? How do you go from playoffs to worst team in the entire league in 3 years?
Crap ownership.
Management is bad. All right, that's it. I think that's about it for sports this week. Thanks for stopping by. If you've got something you think you'd like for us to cover, give us a shout, give us a yell, leave a little comment somewhere. We hope you had a little fun with us. Thanks again for SevereTV.com for setting us up here. Be sure to check out their other shows that they got going on. They got some pretty good shows on there. Be sure to check out Autographs Plus. Their website's www.apsevere.com, and Sevier County got a couple stores there, so be sure and check them out. Other than that, we will see you next week.
See you next week.